Is General Motors a buy after the disastrous Nikola deal? And with that, welcome back to Investing for Generations, your channel for high quality stock research for long-term value investor. So, just last week, GM and Nikola announced a partnership in which GM takes 2 billion stake in Nikola and GM will contribute technology and manufacturing for 11% of the Nikola stake, and GM has a right to nominate one director to Nikola's board, and Nikola and GM are partnering on a new electric pickup. Just after this news broke through, the Hindenburg research on Nikola took place, and Hindenburg research just said that the whole Nikola company is a big scam, and I just made recently a video about this, so you can find the link here up on the screen. Check this out. This video is about Nikola and what happened there, so you find out what it's in this Hindenburg research. But of course, this also impacts not just Nikola, it impacts also GM, and I think the full story of this we will find out in the next days or weeks. In this video, I don't want to talk so much about this. I want to take a look at the fundamentals of General Motors at all and just see if General Motors could be a good long-term investment. And therefore, we just have to take a look in the history, and we will see that General Motors was for a long time the largest auto producer in the world. In 1999, they produced over 8 million vehicles and was the biggest producer by a mile in front of Ford. And 8 years later, just Toyota took over from GM because GM not really grew even more, and then Toyota just hunting and took the lead in 2007. And then when we take a look right now at the largest automotive companies in the world, we see that General Motors right now is just number 5. So they gone from number 1 by far in 1999 to number 5 just 20 years later. This seems like a downtrend, and a downtrend because of a lack of innovation and of course also of competitiveness. And so also the revenue of General Motors is just stagnant from $135 billion in 2010 to pre-pandemic of 137 billion in 2019. So this is really stagnant with a little bit up and down in between, but overall there is no growth at all. And this is even more astounding than that the global car sales overall just rised, and now with the pandemic in 2020 dropped a little bit, but overall there are just more car sales over time, but General Motors just can't grow with it. So that's a big concern, of course, for the company. And also when we look at the earnings per shares over the years, we see it's an up and down, and just right now we also have another downtrend. Also when we look at the margins, we see that they drop down, and the net margins are really very slim right now. But even in good times, the net margins are not over 10%. And also what's really disappointing is the return on investment, right now at 1.25%, but even before, the returns on investment wasn't really high. And another concern for me is the rising long-term debt, which maybe is not so concerning with the interest rates we have right now, but we have a debt equity ratio of 2.0, is not on way to bankruptcy, of course, but I like to have my companies with a debt equity ratio around 1 or even better, under 1. And another very important number is the free cash flow, of course. And here we can see that General Motors lately was able just slightly to have a positive free cash flow. And also here is a lot of up and down. And so this is also obviously not a stable business at all. And all of this, as I said before, comes from a lack of innovation. This is not just for General Motors, this is also for the European automotive companies. I'm from Germany, and if I look to the German automotive companies or the whole sector, I see just the same. These big old companies are moving very slowly and sometimes just sleepwalking. And I think the same happened here with General Motors over a long time. Even before it became public that Nikola is maybe just a scam. But even before, for me, it looks like GM just desperately want to jump on this train of electric vehicles, hydrogen vehicles. This looks more than a desperate move than a real strategic move. Just in my view. So, but I don't want to go too deep into this. Maybe there are other experts. But if I look to the fundamental numbers of GM and see the market position right now and how fast the competitor move, I think GM have a real problem. So let's take a look at the price. So here we have a chart over the last decade, and we can see that General Motors over time have a lot of ups and downs, high volatility, but at the end they are traded at a little bit over $30 right now. And in 2010 they was at $34-35. So there is no gain over this period, even if there are a lot of volatility. And as always, I also calculated my intrinsic value. Therefore, I took the numbers for the whole year 2019. So the pandemic situation is not included in this calculation. And when I take the earnings per share of 2019 and then just calculate with a small growing rate of 2 to 3% per year, I come to an intrinsic value of 40, which means, or which would mean, General Motors is undervalued right now. And of course, if you find a company which is undervalued, and even more in this bull run we have now with these so many tech stocks seems overvalued or way overvalued, you can be happy if you find a stock which is undervalued. And so maybe if you believe that General Motors can cut the corner and maybe can find a way to grow more and more, or more, even more than I calculated, maybe it could be a good moment to buy into this company. I'm just not so convinced in that, and so I will not touch General Motors, as I even not touch any of the other automotive companies, even if they have maybe a better market position right now. Because I think the whole sector is in a change, and all of this sector for me looks very shaky. My conclusion is that General Motors is in a downtrend, in a long-term downtrend, as you can see by the numbers of the car sales, but also when you look at the stock price over long term. And I don't see how they break this downturn and this downtrend. General Motors is no buy for me right now. Or to say it with the words of Warren Williams, an early Australian rock star, right now it's too little, too late. And that's what I think about General Motors and the changing world around, and but not just General Motors, as I tried to explain before. That's it for today. If you like the video, give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to never miss another video. And then we will see the next time, and then with another analysis of another stock out of my watch list. See you then. Take care. Bye bye.